little bit simplistic. There's a few other things that happen, but basically a hormone is like a plug. It sits in a socket. Essential fatty acids go to make or get converted into master hormones. Not hormones, master hormones. Now what is a master hormone? A master hormone is a component that affects how the plug is going to hit the socket. So without these master hormones, the plug doesn't hit the socket as effectively. None of your hormones work as effectively. Not only that, but essential fatty acids are part of the outside part of a cell. It's called a cell membrane. And that membrane is composed of essential fatty acids. Without essential fatty acids in your diet, the cell membrane becomes dysfunctional, and once again, the plug can't fit into the socket because the cell membrane is out of shape. Thirdly, and this is very, very important, essential fatty acids are oxygen magnets. And this is why they're sitting in the outside part of a cell. Because as the essential fatty acid is sitting in the outside part of a cell, it's attracting oxygen to the cell. It's an oxygen magnet. Oxygen that's attracted to the outside part of a cell can be absorbed into a cell, and the body and the cell can use that oxygen for energy. Essential fatty acids act to trap oxygen, to localize oxygen near a cell so that cell can utilize the oxygen. Cancer can be created by suffocating, robbing a cell of oxygen. So essential fatty acids in the cell are the ways the cell protects itself from cancer. In fact, the most powerful strategy for protecting yourself from cancer is to make sure you're oxygenating cellularly through supplements like essential fatty acids and through the lungs and the respiratory tract by making sure you're breathing correctly, which is a whole other story. So essential fatty acids go to make master hormones. They go to make the cell membrane. They act like oxygen magnets. Tremendously important, and one of the most functional benefits of essential fatty acids is they can get you off of the French fries and get you off the fat.
Yeah, that's true.
So just with the first 2 chapters, bro, you've now lowered your sugar cravings, reduced your sugar cravings, reduced your cravings for fatty foods. Just the first 2 chapters, you've lost weight. Just the first 2 chapters. And we haven't even got to chapter 3, which is carbohydrates. Now, carbohydrates get a bad rap. Everybody wants to be on low carb, right? Low carb diets. You need more carbohydrates than you need any other food group. In fact, roughly 60% or so of your calories should come from I shouldn't say that. 40% of your calories should come from carbohydrates. The standard, and everybody's going to be a little different, but the standard type of division of macronutrients are 40% carbohydrates, 30% protein, 30% fat. That's a good place to be. So most of your calories should come from carbohydrates, but they have to come from one kind of carbohydrate. And this is one of the most amazing, powerful foods on the planet. And the large bulk of your calories should be coming from this one type of food, and that is vegetables. Vegetables, 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 vegetables. So most of your calories have to come from carbohydrate, but not the carbohydrates that we're getting, vegetable carbohydrates. And you notice I didn't say fruits, right? I said vegetables, not fruits. The problem with fruits is fruits have been bred, genetically modified, not just recently in terms of genetic modification, but genetically modified for eons, or centuries really, to be super high in sugar, and super high in fructose specifically, which is a very problematic sugar above and beyond regular sugar. Fructose has its own problems, and fruits are obviously high in fruit sugar, fructose. So you want the bulk of your caloric intake to come from the calories that you get from vegetables. Vegetables, vegetables, vegetables. Now, there's a couple problems with vegetables. The first problem is a lot of the nutrients in vegetables that come with those carbohydrates are fatty and fat soluble. And if you have any problems with fat absorption, if you have any malabsorption issues, 30% of Americans have fat malabsorption problems, you're not going to get the benefits of those fatty nutrients. And those fatty nutrients are very protective against, protective from the sun and protective from toxicity in the environment. So without those fatty nutrients, they're called bioflavonoids and they're called carotenes, and you probably have heard some of these terms, phytosterols. These fatty compounds that are found in vegetables are supposed to be protecting us from the environment, protecting us from the sun, protecting us from toxins, protecting us from pollution. But if you're not absorbing your fats, you have an intestinal problem, you have Crohn's disease, celiac disease, you're not absorbing your fats on some level, what's going to end up happening is you're going to lose those nutrients, and you're going to be more sensitive to the sun, you're going to be more sensitive to skin cancer and other kinds of cancers, you're going to be more sensitive to environmental toxicities. So what you need to do with your vegetables is you need to mix them with oil. You always want to mix your vegetables with oil, and it's a good idea to slightly heat the vegetables in the oil. Not a lot of heat, but maybe slight steaming. And what will end up happening is the nutrients, the fatty nutrients that are in the Brussels sprouts and the broccoli and the cauliflower will come out in the oil and make it easier for your body to absorb. So chapter 3, carbohydrates, should be mostly vegetables, as much as you can do vegetables, and it should be always mixed with fats. Mix your oils, your fatty acids, your essential fatty acids with your vegetables, and go varied on the vegetables. Easy on the beet and carrot. Everybody likes beet and carrot because they're super high in sugar. So easy on the beet and the carrot. Emphasize the bitter vegetables. Medicine and good stuff is always in the bitter vegetables. And you can make bitter vegetables more palatable by slightly steaming them because you release the sugars in the vegetables. All vegetables have sugars in them, but they're tied up and can't really taste them until you slightly steam them. That's why onions have almost a sugary sweet taste once you start to cook them, or once you heat them a little bit. Same with Brussels sprouts and broccoli. So chapter 3 is carbohydrates. Carbohydrates should form the bulk of your caloric intake, but they have to be vegetable carbohydrates, and you can't possibly get enough vegetables. Vegetables for breakfast, vegetables for lunch, vegetables for dinner. Veggie juices are an unbelievably important strategy for dieters because you get all of these nutrients, easy to absorb, it's all broken up and pre-digested, and you don't have to go through some of the digestive problems that are associated with vegetable intake. By the way, cabbages and cabbage juice is an amazing medicinal-like compound, medicinal-like food substance for the digestive system. If you have ulcers, if you have any kind of digestive problems, cabbage juice is amazing stuff. All vegetables are amazing. Cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts are a woman's best friend because they're highly protective against female cancers. Yeah. All of those vegetables, cruciferous vegetables.
But I want to get back to the modern day because there's so many processed foods and the kind of carbs everybody's been eating. I mean, I followed, like you said, the first 2 chapters of this, but just getting on the wheys and the fats, and I personally have had a big transformation. Do you want to talk about that stuff right now? Or
about the kind of carbohydrates?
You want to finish your list? Or?
Well, no, this is good. The kind of carbohydrates people are eating. Because you and I were talking off air about how our political system, our governmental system, the hierarchy